I'm Tameka Kee, reporting here live from the Cannes Lion International Festival of Creativity for Beat TV and the New York Stock Exchange. And we're delighted to have Rich Routman, president of Minute Media here. Welcome, Rich.
Thank you for having me, Tameka. It's great to be here.
How do you keep a legacy brand culturally relevant while expanding into entirely new platforms and formats?
I think it's really just staying true to what you do well. Over the years, SI has built a number of great franchises. Some of them are legacy franchises like The Cover and Faces in the Crowd and The Power List. For us, it's less about trying to sit in somebody else's skin. It's more about taking those franchises to differentiated platforms, how they interact with our consumers differently. Maybe it used to be a print franchise and now it needs to be experiential franchise. So, our audience has evolved over the years. I would say SI is a very resilient brand. It's probably the sports brand that has lasted the longest, and I think for good reason. It means something. If we just continue to focus on the things that we do really well, but adapt them to how people are consuming media now, I think that we have a business that's going to be here for a long time.
So drilling down a little bit more into that, SI, the swimsuit issue, is heading to Hulu. What does that say about where brands in general need to go to reach their audiences today?
I think for us, first and foremost, we take a lot of pride in that. I think when and not me, because it's Hillary and it's MJ and the swim team, I just get a chance to, help and be a part of the whole thing with them. When you do something really well and when you partner with the right creators and you build great events, people start to notice. And when Hulu came to us with wanting to turn this baby of ours into a television experience, our team was like, not initially, there's not even a hesitation whatsoever. Like, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna have an impact on the event, but the behind the scenes and the outtakes and how we can do this and make it, sometimes our events are just contained to the audiences that are there. So we want people that are not there to be part of that experience. So the Hulu opportunity for us was an opportunity to take something that we're really proud of and share it with a much wider audience. The feedback's been great so far. The talent loved being a part of something that was going to be on Hulu and Disney and otherwise, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it from us.
So, you're also doing other ambitious things like this 48 cover World Cup issue. That is very ambitious. What was the strategy behind that execution? And also tell me a little bit more about what that reveals about the modern state of fandom in sports.
Yeah, so again, an editorial decision, not something but I think, soccer is, for an American, I've worked in soccer for a very long time. My previous business had a very strong position in soccer. And I think that US-based companies, in my opinion, where they lack authenticity in soccer is because they try to cover it from the US into international. And the best coverage in soccer is from international into the US. They know a lot more about soccer than we do. They've grown up with it in their local markets. It's their American football, it's their basketball. So if we really wanted to do the World Cup in an authentic way, in a way that would make sense for an Argentina fan and for a US fan, you have to partner with local creators. Right? So yes, they had a great brand program attached to it, and yes, X, Y, and Z, but the flavor of the content that we're able to get from somebody who lives and breathes that team and that culture is far different than someone who's doing it from a New York office. Right? So I think you have to have a bit of the balance of both when it comes to a big stage event like the World Cup.
So, you are taking these big bets, and I think a lot of publishers right now are really focused on efficiency and scale. On the other hand, you're leaning into premium storytelling and these big swings. Where do you see that creating value for advertisers, though?
Some swings are bigger than others, right? I think that as a business, I don't think that scale plays the role. I think being efficient is still really important, but I think it's continuing to be exploratory. It's trying new things and being able to fail fast, right? So if you kind of look at our publishing business today versus 5 years ago, scale really mattered. When you go into a meeting with an advertiser, you talk about ComScore, yada, 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 respectfully. The viewpoint from the ad community is, well, I wouldn't be taking a meeting with you if you didn't have enough scale for it to matter, right? Like, we don't even talk about the size of our audience anymore, right? So we talk about the type of data we have about them, the type of stuff that they like, but we're focused on franchises, we're focused on features, we're focused on talent, and we're focused on platform. If those things amount to scale, great, but it's finding the right platform for this right feature, or creating this really good new franchise that makes sense experientially and digitally. Right? So it's less about efficiency and scale. I think that it's a lot more about innovation. So there are some strategic bets in there, but there are also some things that we just have to be doing in order to continue to advance the business. And I think that advertisers and partners of ours respond well to that, because if they see us standing still, we're kind of going nowhere. And generally the buy side also, it's like, Rich, I just saw you 6 months ago. What's new? Do I really need to meet with you again? You know, so for us, it's always continuing to stay fresh, continuing to build new things, to not just engage our consumers, but also to be able to bring new products to the market.
You know, I feel like there's a couple of threads here in terms of how Minute Media is evolving so many of these brands and so many editorial choices. What would you say that common thread is in terms of how you're evolving Sports Illustrated in particular for this next phase?
I can tell you that no one's more, while I am relatively new to Sports Illustrated, it was always like an aspirational thing for me, like as a person coming up in sports, like a meeting with Sports Illustrated when I was 25 years old in this industry was a big deal, right? So the fact that I get to work on it every day is actually a real pleasure for me. But I think that you have, with SI, we have so many people that have been with the brand for such a long period of time. Like, I think when you acquire the rights to do what we're doing with Sports Illustrated, it comes with this amazing team. Some of these are ideas that they've had 5 years ago, you know, and some of them are ideas that come up next week or next month. But the bank of opportunities that we have the ability to choose from because of the love that people who work on SI have for the brand, it's more curbing that enthusiasm and focusing on not all 10 of them at one time, right? Because the list of things that we want to do with the brand and the things that we're going to do over time with the brand is very ambitious.
That's actually super nice to hear that the team and
It's
their
their
passion.
ideas. I
right?
definitely like to think that I'm creative sometimes, but their ideas they tend to like better than mine, so let's just go with that for now.
Thank you so much, Rich.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.